It's time now for the latest in local news. In the news, the state fire marshal's office in town this week. In town Tuesday, they've arrested Courtney Sellers, who they interviewed about the house fire in Scriven, Georgia at 199 Pine Circle. Fire occurred last Friday morning. The home belonged to Tommy and Courtney Sellers. It was completely destroyed by a fire. Sheriff Chuck Mosley says that Courtney Sellers faces multiple charges. The fire occurred in the early hours of Friday. First call to the fire department came in around 4 a.m. Scriven volunteer firefighters also responded to the fire along with the Jesup Fire Department. Home was deemed a total loss in the amount of $120,000. Once again, Courtney Sellers was interviewed by the state fire marshal's investigators Tuesday night, and the warrants for her arrest occurred Wednesday. Since we received the list of charges, we'll have those here on our local news, but one of the owners of the house charged with setting the house on fire has been arrested in connection with the fire. Jesup City Council met Tuesday evening. Once again, the council, with just 5 current members, having difficulty getting 4 votes on many issues. Case in point Tuesday, a 3-2 vote to approve the preliminary plat proposal for the South Palm Street development. And the motion did not pass with only 3 votes. The council needs 4 for approval. District 5 seat appears will remain vacant until January's elections in November, with qualifying set for August 21st. Mayor stating Tuesday night that they haven't heard any word from the governor, who the council is looking to make the appointment, as the city council has not been able to agree on appointing anyone to have taken the topic, and they've taken the topic off their agenda. Perry Morgan announced on the Butch and Bob show that he's running in District 1. The incumbent Shirley Armstrong planning not to seek re-election. In District 4, which is up for re-election, incumbent Stanley Todd re-emphasized Tuesday night under eyes with commissioners that he's also not seeking re-election.
I want to say that it's almost 2 years ago, I did announce that I would not be qualifying again to run as commissioner in District 4. I've held to that. That's still my statement. The city of Jesup has been good to me. It's been one of the best places in the world I could have ever served. I know there are yet 5 months left on this term. I almost wish it was tomorrow, but there are 5 months left. But that being said, I'll serve faithfully as I can through those 5 months. But I have heard a lot of comments and through social media and other ways that, only in Jesup. I'm glad that I live only in Jesup, Georgia. Mm-hmm. If you don't, you know what? I love the United States of America. It's a great country. I don't care what people say. It's the greatest country in the world. I love the state of Georgia. I'd rather live in Georgia than any other state. I think we're blessed to live in the state of Georgia. But I am so glad that my feet are buried in Wayne County, and even more so Jesup. I don't know if any other place in the world I'd rather live. It's the greatest place in the world for us to be. And I have certainly appreciated the opportunity to serve the city of Jesup. I thank our council, the previous members that I've served with, and those I currently serve with, even though adversity at time, we grow through that and we learn through that. And I particularly remember Ray House. Ray meant so much to me. My heart's heavy that Ray is not beside me tonight. But Ray is the one that could argue with a donkey instead of saying the other word, a donkey, yet he would be your friend when it was over with. That's not what we need in America today. I mean, we can disagree, but we still have respect and dignity.
Yeah, once again, those comments, Commissioner Stanley Todd again not seeking election in November. Districts 1, 4, and 5 are up for election in November. Qualifying again begins August 21st. One other note from the city meeting, City Manager Rose Marcus informed the council that she took $2 million from the general fund, $2 million for the water and sewer fund, and put the money in a CD with First Horizon Bank at 5.5%. Commissioner Tim Cockfield applauded her for her efforts in seeking the high percentage rate. We'll come back with more news after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned.
Sometimes things happen in life that can knock you off course for a while. It happens to all of us at some point, even the most.
Other news, Wayne County Board of Education met Tuesday. On the agenda, report on their audit. CFO R.J. Aldridge reported the school system received an unmodified opinion, the highest level, but Aldridge stated the audit contained 2 findings that the board had to sign off on as a corrective action as required by law. Here is R.J. Aldridge explaining the 2 items.
discussed and budgeted for some salary adjustments for not only personnel, but for contract workers as well. We budgeted for that amount, sent it to the state approved it, said that was fine, we paid it, everything was fine. Auditors come in and they determined, based on their reading of the law, that that was not exactly kosher. I have talked to several counties that have been dealing with ESSER funds. Almost every one of them has had to deal with some sort of issue where they got something approved, they spent it, and then after the fact, there was nothing. I mean, once you spend it and you requested it, there's not much you can do when it comes to the audit. So that was just one of those findings. We felt like it was a need to take care of all of our people, whether they were our actual employee or some of our people that we have to contract with. They were in there elbows to elbows during that time period of CARES. We thought it was the right thing to do. Me and Dr. Kelly still feel like that is the right thing to do, but it was a finding. We have a solution for this resolving for next year. We won't have this issue for the FY23 audit. I had a discussion with the auditors of exactly what that would entail. We should be good to go, so this should not be a repeat finding for next year as far as the ESSER funds go. The second finding was dealing with capital projects. What it really entailed was a bill that we received after the fiscal year end that we paid after the fiscal year end. A portion of that bill should have been what we call accrued or recorded in a previous year, just because of the way the work was performed. Obviously, you paid it here, but they were doing the work, and that's when they want it recorded. I've had some discussions with them about that process, how I will, these upcoming bills that we're about to pay our contractors, making contact with them to get an idea of, hey, you sent us this bill for this period, but can you give me a good idea of when that work was performed? If we get a good idea, we can document that, we can better record that transaction for next year. This again should not be a finding for next year. We were also going through some additional training. I'm going to go through some more training in November on some financial presentation as well to make sure that that particular issue does not come up. But I do want to reiterate, there were two findings, but it did not affect the opinion of the auditors of our financial statements. It was the exact same unmodified opinion that we've had for the past 3 years that I have been here through an audit. So neither of the two findings affected that opinion in any way. They were findings of a point that they had to be notated and it had to be documented, at least in the audit. The additional part to that is the Senate passed a bill, Senate Bill, I believe it's 68 is the correct number, that states that in these audits, it just came about, I believe, in 2021 or 2022, if there is a finding in an audit which makes your, what they call from low risk to either a moderate or high. We got a moderate risk because this was the first time we had a finding. That a corrective action plan had to be drawn out, wrote out on paper, and that all board members and the superintendent must sign off on, and we had to document back to them. So that's what you have in front of you is that letter. Once your signatures are placed on it, it will be sent back to the state as our documentation to suffice for Senate Bill 68.
Any of those comments of the CFO, R.J. Aldridge, explained that to the board on Tuesday. Board Chairman Joe McPippen said he talked with the auditors. He says they were very complimentary of their school system CFO, R.J. Aldridge. High school getting ready for freshman orientation Thursday, August 3rd from 12:30 to 3 p.m. in the high school auditorium. This is for all incoming freshmen, and it's for students only. At 2:30, they'll ask the parents to join the students for a brief informational session in the high school auditorium, and they'll visit teachers' classrooms for open house at 3 p.m. Again, open house for all grades in Wayne County will be held August 3rd from 3:30 to 6 p.m. Arthur Williams hosting a jump start for all incoming sixth graders. That's set for August 1st from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the school. Again, that's sixth grade jump start at Arthur Williams Middle School on August 1st from 5:30 to 8 p.m. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes news. Reminder, Congressman Buddy Carter going to join us this morning on the world famous Butch and Bob Show. One of the topics is the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, a bipartisan bill, and that's just one of the topics this morning. But Congressman Buddy Carter joins us this morning on the world famous Butch and Bob Show. Final note, don't forget the Wayne County Board of Tourism sponsoring an inaugural back-to-school event entitled Touch a Truck. Going to take place on Saturday, August 5th from 9 to 2 in downtown Jesup. event will feature heavy equipment, emergency vehicles, tow trucks, bucket trucks, along with food and information booths where kids can see them up close. The event will be centered around West Walnut Street between North Macon and Northeast Broad Streets. Streets will be closed to vehicles. The first hour of the event will be a quiet hour for sensory sensitive children. During this time, no sirens will be used. Visitors are encouraged to shop local businesses in the downtown area for back to school supplies. For vendor and booth information, contact Heather Altman at the Wayne County Board of Tourism office at 912-427-3233. For vehicle participation information, contact Donnie Gray at 912-424-0376. Again, Touch a Truck set for Saturday, August 5th, 9 to 2 in downtown Jesup. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgans, have a great day.